Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. I'm Rob Evans. Welcome to Daybreak Plus. We're breaking down all the news you may have missed overnight and digging deep into what matters to you. And Austin officials plan to update the community today about their response to measles. On Friday, they announced a second case of measles right here in Travis County, and that case was in a vaccinated adult. Officials say they believe that person may have been exposed while traveling domestically within the U.S., and the city also released a list of locations that person went to. Take a look at this. This is where other people may have been exposed. You can see them spread out across downtown, across South Austin, some very popular places on that list, like a Starbucks, a Walgreens, UPS store. You can look for the story on KVUE.com to see the exact days and times where exposure was most likely. Now, if you want to hear what health officials have to say, you can tune into KVUE Plus at noon today. Of course, you've already downloaded the streaming app for free on your TV, but tell other people about it so they can watch as well. And taking a live look at the Texas state capitol, where today House lawmakers will talk about potentially creating a high-speed rail line across the state. It's House Bill 483. It proposes a rail line that would run from Dallas through Austin and ending in San Antonio. Now, the bill's author is the man you see right there from Texas, Representative John Busey, a Democrat who represents parts of North Austin and Williamson County. And he says talks for this kind of project have been in the works for years. Now, we talked to him back in November when the bill was first filed, and he says the rail line will connect major business hubs and reduce traffic and accidents on I-35. Take a listen.
Think about getting people that are tired, stuck in traffic, running to a meeting up and down between Austin and San Antonio or Dallas and Austin and going back and forth. A lot of times people will make that trip, round trip, in the same day.
Now, the bill does not have direct funding attached to it, but it does direct TxDOT to find a private vendor to help create that line. The House Transportation Committee will hear testimony on the bill later today. And this morning, a new Ipsos poll is showing more Americans disapprove of how President Trump has handled his first 100 days back in office than those who approve. His decisions around the economy are driving much of that pushback, of course. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the details from Washington.
The cost of living was a major selling point on his return to the White House.
I will instruct my cabinet that I expect results within the first 100 days or much sooner than that.
And today, as President Trump rounds out his first 100 days in office, a new ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll shows the benchmark approval rating is the lowest of any president in the past 80 years. 55% say they disapprove of how Trump is handling his job so far. 72% think it's very or somewhat likely the president's economic policies will cause a recession. And 73% describe the economy as in bad shape, with more than half believing it's gotten worse since Trump took office. Trump's Treasury Secretary dismissing the numbers.
What I do know is that Americans are behaving very different than what the surveys say. So the surveys may say that, but consumers are still spending.
The poll comes as the global trade war intensifies because of Trump's sweeping tariffs, a decision the administration insists will be good for the American economy long term. The International Monetary Fund warns Trump's tariffs will drive prices up and slow economic growth down across the world. In New York, Representative Mike Lawler defended Trump's economic policies last night in the latest example of a heated town hall drowned out by boos from dissatisfied voters. Our poll also shows Americans trust Trump to handle the nation's main problems over Democrats in Congress, 37 to 30%. 30% say they don't trust either. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
And KVUE continues to keep tabs on how these tariffs are impacting local businesses and their customers. KVUE's Isabella Basco talked to florists right ahead of Mother's Day.
It's one of the busiest times of the year for players in the floral industry, like Mistine Boren, who owns Studio Mistine Floral Design. But with proms, Mother's Day, and more weddings around the corner, tariffs are now top of mind.
I'm actually sourcing more wild local flowers so I don't have to deal with these tariffs.
The USDA reports countries like Colombia, Canada, and Ecuador are leading suppliers of flowers in the U.S. With these countries now facing tariffs, Boren says she'll wait until after Mother's Day to evaluate whether she'll raise prices.
It's tough because, we only have, our margins are so thin already. And especially when it comes to buying fresh flowers, it's a big, splurge and expense for people.
Kaylee Presby-Gaines runs a floral business out of her home called Bouquets and is noticing the price of flowers are up from $3 to $5.
I have something written into my contract as of a week ago that if unforeseen tariffs, unforeseen government changes, other random acts of nature happen, that if I have to change my costs, that it will be pushed off to the customer.
China is also a major supplier of items like vases, and Presby-Gaines is noticing those prices are going up too.
When things break, I'm not able to just source the same item anymore because they might not make it anymore or the cost has gone up so much. The timing of the year makes it extra stressful because I already have so much to worry about.
And now she's working hard to keep business in bloom.
Now, the USDA also reports countries like Mexico, Taiwan, and Costa Rica help supply flowers to the U.S. And for more information on how tariffs could impact business in our area, you can always go to our website, KVUE.com. It is now 7:07. Let's get a look at weather and traffic with Casey and Hannah. Casey, how's it looking out there?
Not the nicest looking start to this Monday. The Mother Nature kind of has a case of the Mondays. We've got the cloud cover out there, but today we will remain pretty quiet and calm. This drier weather pattern, it kicked off this weekend. It continues for at least Tuesday, but changes arrive on Wednesday. That'll be featuring our next best chance for some rain, some thunderstorms, and after Wednesday, we'll continue to settle into a more active weather pattern yet again. Now, this morning, we've got the clouds back with us. Unfortunately, if you want the sunshine kind of returning for our mornings, we're not going to see much of that morning after morning. We will continue with the same kind of pattern. Winds out of the southeast bring these low clouds in by the morning hours, which lead to these grayer starts. You can see that as we take a look out from our tower cam out across Westlake Hills. Temperatures right now really didn't cool down too much overnight. We hit highs yesterday in the middle 80s, and we've only managed to cool into the lower 70s this morning. That's courtesy of that high humidity preventing things from cooling down overnight. Out the door on our radar, we are currently dry. We're not going to see much rain today, at least here locally, but what we are tracking is our next rainmaker on the way. Now, it's currently located out across parts of Utah, up towards Idaho, Nevada. This swirl here that's currently caused from this upper level low that'll be swinging across portions of the Four Corners and eventually clipping North Texas as we head into Wednesday afternoon. That will bring the return of some rain, some thunderstorms by Wednesday, but next couple days you won't need the rain gear. Today, you won't even need the sunglasses because we continue with the cloudy sky. Could see some breaks in that cloud deck by this afternoon. A little bit of sunshine trying to peek out later on, but more clouds compared to sunshine today. Same thing for tomorrow. Low clouds to start. Look for a mix of clouds and sun by the afternoon until we get to Wednesday. Wednesday starting to feature some spotty showers by the morning hours, but our main event looks to arrive Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening. We're going to be tracking likely a broken line of some showers, some thunderstorms rolling through the area. Some of these could be packing a punch in terms of the capability of producing some gusty to damaging winds, along with some hail. We have that level 1 out of 5 risk now included for our northern counties. This will be for Wednesday that we'll have to watch out for. And of course, we'll continue to bring you updates on that severe weather threat for Wednesday as we get closer to that day. Now, after Wednesday, you won't need to, or you shouldn't be putting the umbrella away just yet. We continue with what will be daily rounds of showers and storms, even as we into Thursday and Friday and the weekend ahead, which you'll see in your 70 forecast. Highs today back into middle and upper 80s we go. A little bit warmer than yesterday. Those winds to the southeast, a little bit breezy at times. Overnight tonight, we fall into the 60s for the hill country. Low 70s across the I-35 corridor with low 70s across the coastal plains. Look for lows near about 71 for Round Rock, lows near about 70 degrees for Kyle as well. Another cloudy start to your Tuesday, mostly cloudy sky for the afternoon and a high near 89 degrees. So we pretty much just rinse and repeat for tomorrow. Wednesday, we see that upper level disturbance roll on through. That'll bring us our first round of showers and storms. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we continue with daily rounds of showers and storms with those rain chances ranging between a 30 to 40%. Thanks so much, Casey. I've got a lot to talk to you guys about here. I'm just updating this little graphic real quick, and let's go ahead and get this picture up for you. Okay. So we still have a lot of activity. It's looking a lot better in the main lanes in South Austin. We had a car fire, we had a stalled vehicle, we had all kinds of things going on. So it's a lot. It's good to see that we're kind of breathing again in those northbound lanes. You can see we've got that travel back, but there was that incident off of Stastny. That's where the car trouble was. And then on top of that, we had a separate crash at William Cannon that was also really slowing things down for my good friends in South Austin. And then on top of that, just throw in a stalled vehicle and it's just an obstacle course out there. Several miles of stop and go in the northbound lanes coming in today. Aside from that, we also have some activity popping up in East Austin. This is south of Walter E. Long Park there, and that is right at FM 973 at FM 969. They're still working that crash. It doesn't seem to be impacting travel on the 130 toll road, but definitely just something to keep in mind as you are heading out the door. We've seen some slowdowns in Georgetown. It looks like that crash there cleared up, so good to see, but definitely still a little bit of stop and go in those southbound lanes. Let's take a look around town today. If heading south on Loop 360 right now, looks like we've got some debris in the road, and this is south of the Arboretum, so seeing some stop and go there in those southbound lanes, so just something to be aware of there. That's Steck Valley Greenbelt. And then once again, taking a look across the rest of the area, I got to show you my bluebonnet photos. We only have a couple days left of April. It has been my favorite time of year. And look at these squishy faces. I just love bulldogs so much, and they're just like the sweetest little babies. And this was sent in, and this is Clyde and Otis. It's like the perfect names. And that was sent in from my good friends in Buda, Texas, from Lori Lavisar. And thanks so much, Lori. We love bulldogs and bluebonnets. We don't love traffic, but we'll take what we can get around here, Rob.
Oh, thanks for the heads up, Hannah. Appreciate that. The Worldwide Catholic Church is preparing for its leadership change following the death of Pope Francis. ABC's Maggie Ruley shows us the mourners are continuing to pay their respects as cardinals prepare for the conclave to pick a new pope.
St. Peter's Square once again filled today as young people from around the world gather for a special mass in honor of teenagers.
I want to show you this incredible scene in St. Peter's Square right now. Nearly 200,000 young people here for the Jubilee of Teenagers Mass. Just 24 hours ago, this square was filled with mourners for the funeral of Pope Francis. Right now, it is filled with hope.
The Cardinal Secretary of State of Vatican City presiding over Mass. The mention of Pope Francis getting a loud reaction. Delivering his homily in Italian, the Cardinal saying those who accept Jesus' offer of salvation are set free from sin, sorrow, and loneliness. With thousands of young people on hand, he noted the challenges this generation must confront, including technology and artificial intelligence that characterize this age. I met Mary Legary from Maryland. She believes young people are the new church. I asked her what she wants for the future of the church.
I just want to see more people come to the church. I think it gets discouraging for young people seeing or feeling like they're really alone. We are not alone.
A few miles away, the faithful visiting the final resting place of Pope Francis. The late pontiff was buried Saturday following a funeral mass in St. Peter's Square. He chose to be laid to rest inside the Basilica of St. Mary Major in a simple tomb, inscribed with just one word, Franciscus. All the cardinals currently in Rome visiting his tomb today as they prepare for the conclave to elect a new pope, which is set to begin sometime in May. The cardinals will sequester inside the Sistine Chapel, voting several times a day until they reach a 2/3 majority, burning the ballots after each vote to alert the waiting public. Black smoke signaling no decision. White smoke meaning the world's nearly 1.4 billion Catholics have a new holy leader. Maggie Ruley, ABC News, Rome.
7:14 right now, and as we enter a new week, we're waiting to hear when Governor Greg Abbott will sign school voucher legislation into law. And the House and Senate agreed on a plan last week to create education savings accounts, allowing Texas families to use taxpayer money to pay for private school education. Now, the author of that bill is Republican Senator Brandon Creighton, and we talked this week, or last week rather, with KVUE Political Director Ashley Cadeau about how they finally got this long-time Senate priority across the finish line. Take a listen.
Talk to us about the differences between what passed out of the upper chamber and how it came back, how the House changed Senate Bill 2.
Sure. Well, it was surprisingly aligned on the bigger components, right? I mean, when it left the Senate floor, it was $1 billion from the surplus for The funding itself, which would serve about 100,000 students, that's the largest launch for a school choice plan in American history, so we're really proud of that. The House maintained that. The House made some changes on the amount that a student that would ultimately receive an ESA that has special needs in education, the amounts that they would receive as a ceiling. So we were around 11,500 for those students in the Senate. The House ended up with up to 30,000. That's one of the major examples of where they ended up. They also took out what we call micro schools, schools that aren't yet accredited but are working towards being accredited. And the House made a change that only a private school that's been accredited for 2 years and has that track record will be part of the initial plan for the use of the ESAs. So I think those are two big changes, and there were others as well.
When we think about some of those changes, though, the House obviously is tying the funding, the amount of each account, also to what schools get, right? It's 85% of that per student funding.
Right.
That's a little more than the 10,000 hard cutoff that you all passed in the Senate. So, I mean, obviously this would mean between that and the special education, fewer students theoretically would be able to get ESAs in this first go round, right?
That's right. That factor of 85% of M&O, or what school districts receive, and tying those two together, that took the base education savings account amount up to, $10,000 and some change, probably that 10,200, 300, 400 range, which was fine. That was very close to our number. But at the end of the day, that's a factor that's tied together now, and that's okay. The Senate agreed with that, and we moved forward with the changes on that provision.
And that was Ashley Godot there. The Texans have until midnight tonight to save money on certain emergency items, things like portable generators, fuel containers, fire extinguishers, batteries, and flashlights can be purchased tax-free. Just kind of an update for you there. And also another update for you, Lottery Courier at Lotto.com suing the Texas Lottery Commission and acting director Sergio Rey just before a vote to ban courier services. The lawsuit claims the commission changed its mind after telling Lotto.com that their business was legal and letting them operate in Texas. Some lawmakers say they worry that couriers could enable money laundering and bulk ticket buying. Back in February, the commission actually banned couriers and seized dozens of terminals. The Texas Senate passed a bill to ban couriers. The House cut lottery funding. House Speaker Dustin Burrows says some lawmakers actually want to end the lottery altogether, but he says he's not ready. Listen.
We're going to have that conversation still. I mean, that is, in the next 30 days, there's going to be a real conversation about, are we going to keep it? And if we do, what changes need to be made so that people have confidence that it is a legitimate gaming operation?
Now, both the Texas Rangers and the Texas Attorney General's office are conducting active investigations into the Lottery Commission. The commission expected to vote on the courier ban at its meeting tomorrow. Lottery.com asking a court to block that from happening. Well, it's been a busy time over at the Austin Airport this past year as they work on several expansion projects to increase capacity. About a week ago, they opened something new from one of the expansion projects. Last Monday, the airport opened the former Chase Sapphire Terrace to the public. Now, the patio opened in 2019, but it was limited to specific members for just 2 years. After seeing that travelers liked it, the airport decided to open it up to the public, and now plans are to build another patio as part of this $165 million West Gate expansion project, adding more seating, a third-level mezzanine with a concourse view, private spaces, and a meditation room. Sam Haynes is with the airport, and here's what she had to say.
We're really looking at ways to use the existing square footage, but also add in experiences into the expansion projects that are open for everybody to use, and really just try to diversify our offerings for the wide diversity of the travelers that we serve.
That project expected to wrap up next spring, And also wrapping up in a year is the $241 million West Infill project that adds 6 to 8 more security lanes. And checkpoint 3 there, it would add more ticketing counters, it would add a new outbound baggage handling system as well. Now, the airport tells KVUE these expansion projects that are underway right now are just the start of the changes. In the next 5 years, they're hoping to open a new 20-gate midfield concourse so that they can match all the growth at the airport. Now, Austin's airport has been growing quickly. Here's a look at the timeline. So in December of 2022, the airport announced a comprehensive 20-year expansion plan, estimated about $6.5 billion worth. Then in 2023, they kicked off a $165 million expansion with those new gates, the patios, the lounges. The airport cleared those legal battles to make room for a second concourse in June. Then in 2024, they broke ground on the $241 million project to add more security lanes and ticket counters. A lot of work when they call it growing pains for a reason, right? And over the weekend, a surprising prank targeted a high-profile future rookie during the NFL draft. And stunt has sparked apologies from an unexpected person. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
This morning, the NFL investigating a prank call to prospect Shedeur Sanders.
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
The incident captured on Sanders' Twitch live stream as he gathered with his family on night 2 of the NFL draft, hoping to hear his name called.
Nobody got that number but coaches, strictly for that reason.
The star quarterback from Colorado, son of the Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, thinking his dreams of becoming a pro were coming true until the men abruptly hang up.
Yeah, yes, sir, let's be legendary.
Yeah, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Now the Atlanta Falcons releasing a statement saying the 21-year-old son of their defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, was responsible for the prank call and got Shedeur's private phone number from his father's iPad. Jax Ulbrich later apologizing to Sanders, saying, "I'm so sorry I took away from your moment. It was selfish and childish."
The Cleveland Browns select Shedeur Sanders.
You heard it! You heard that sound, my boy!
Sanders was supposed to be one of the first names called in this year's draft, but slid all the way to the 5th round, finally selected by the Browns. Sanders now trying to put the whole thing behind him.
This is what it is. I think of course the dude was childish. Of course I feel like it was a childish act, but everybody do childish things here and there.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
It's big of him to think of it like that. We obviously feel for him, though, to have his moment kind of stolen there. Well, we leave you this morning with something to talk about. The city of Round Rock is hosting its annual Donut Dash 5K in 2 weeks, but there's a twist, okay? In the Challenger Division, runners run half the race. Then they eat a dozen Round Rock donuts, which are, by the way, if you've never had them, the most fantastic donuts on the planet. Oh, my goodness. Then they run the other 2.5 kilometers. Now, it's optional, right? It is. You don't have to do it. But registration is now open. The Round Rock Donut Dash 5K set for May the 10th. And that is just incredible. And they're huge donuts. I mean, oh, man. They need one down south, all I'm saying. That's it, though, for Daybreak Plus. Let us know what you want to talk about, or maybe your favorite donut place. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is. Let me know. Message us at 512-459-9442, 512-459-9442. You can also message me if you want on social medias at Rob Evans TV on Insta, on Facebook, on X. And stick around because Daybreak continues right here on KVUE Plus. I'm going up to Round Rock getting some donuts. Goodbye, everybody.